The governor is signing a bill that affects all Georgians. Why is he doing it in private, and why is he trying to keep elected officials who are representing us out of the process?
Exactly.
I know you don't have any control over anything other than suppressing people's right to vote and using your guns and your abilities to talk.
Yeah, you said you give her one more time, like you're going to do something. Are you serious?
No, you are not. Represent.
No. She's not under arrest. What is
For what? Under arrest for what? For trying to see something that our governor is doing? What?
Back up. Get out of the way.
Under what law are you arresting her? Why are you arresting her?
All right, there we go. We should be good. Even though I still didn't get a notification, I'm assuming we're live. I usually get a confirmation, but I didn't this time. The camera looks better, zoomed out. Hopefully that video played good, and hopefully y'all from brother. So yeah, so that is a Georgia lawmaker by the name of hold on one second. It finally popped up. By the name of Park Cannon. All right, I'm good. Thanks, Angel. I appreciate it. By the name of Park Cannon. Like I said, she's a Georgia lawmaker who, in that video, I'm not sure if you could see the. She was knocking on the door to the governor's office while he's in there signing a bill, well, that's a law now, signing a bill into law in regards to uh, voting rights, voter suppression, what some people are calling it. A lot of people are calling it Jim Crow uh, in a suit and tie, or some kind of analogy like that, where he has all of these, changes that he said he's making to improve the voting situation in Georgia. A lot of people see it as him changing things because he feels like he has to do what he can now to give himself an advantage and other Republicans an advantage in future elections. So make all these changes to make it more difficult for Black and Brown voters to vote, to be able to get out to um, polling locations and drop different drop boxes and all type of different options that they had this past year. They're taking some of those away or limiting them, um, and yeah, man, it's a big thing. And the arrest was probably about 5 days ago. I think that's when the bill went into effect, and of course, we haven't had any elections since, or yet to see how it all plays out. But I think Georgia has one in May. I want to say. I'm not 100% sure. I'll just check on that. So yeah, so I just wanted to talk about it and see if anybody heard anything about it. To see um, just what people thought about some of these provisions has been added. Are they? Do you feel like it's voter suppression? Because some things in there you might not. Do you feel like it's Jim Crow Part Two? Just all type of voter suppression stuff. Um, just kind of what's your opinion on it? And I even tried to find, I couldn't find it. Um, just like maybe a simplified version rundown of of what the bill entails. Um, but I do know it limits certain uh, uh, what do you call it? Mail-in voting. That it limits that. They had these drop boxes that were not at polling locations due to the pandemic, is what the governor said. But he wants to move those to locations, polling locations, actual board of elections, etc., inside of those places to where they can be more secure, which is fine. You want your elections to be secure, but a lot of people is thinking that he's doing this off the back of the Donald Trump, um, you know, um, you know, he lost Georgia because the votes was stolen or machines was rigged and all of this stuff. And a lot of people are outraged because if all these courts, including the Supreme Court, find that there is no voter fraud, then why make these drastic changes if the system's already working? So a lot of people point to that to say that you know it must be something else. It must be voter suppression because of it. You know, so um, so yeah, like I said, I couldn't find an exact rundown, but I do know that um, I know it's kind of crazy. To arrest somebody, and I think they charged her with two felonies for like obstruction or something. That was more of the thing to me was they charged her with like two counts of like obstruction or something, and because I think the cop told her like don't knock on the door again, and uh, and of course he did, what I'm saying, and she ended up getting arrested. Um, Now the thing I don't like about it, and I don't know, but the thing I don't like about it is the cop said first off, it was like a group of four, maybe five women, and he said as she was knocking on there that he had flashbacks or visions of what happened on January 6th, like the insurrection on the Capitol. Um, First off, it was one person up there knocking. Um, she was a woman. Um, uh, she was an elected official. You know what I'm saying? Like this wasn't just a random lady or a random mob of women. It was like five women, like I said, and it was one lady knocking on the door, and he arrested her. Like he straight up arrested her. And I think her felonies was knocked down to misdemeanors, but she's still getting charged as of right now with two misdemeanors of something. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. And him saying that he had visions of what happened on January 6th is just crazy to me. Um, so the people are not the people of Georgia, the people around the country, different attorney generals are not the only ones who are kind of like outraged or weird about this bill. Um, Even the bigger companies in Georgia, Coca-Cola and Delta specifically, have came out and said, that they're against the bill, that they don't like what it entails. They uh, would like to do stuff to make voting simpler. As Angel said in the comments, that voting should be easy for everyone, and they just don't agree with it. Um, and the governor, I'll let him talk for himself. This was his response.
They'd point a specific in the bill that they don't like. Same for Mr. Chenault. He's complaining about this as a moral issue. He should look at his own state of New Jersey. They just now signed a bill to have 9 days of early advance voting. We happen to have 17 days in Georgia, and this bill that I just signed adds more opportunities for people to vote early on the weekend. And that's what's so frustrating about this. A lot of the points that you're putting up on the screen about banning water and food, that's not true. Voters can bring water and food in line. People can serve and hand out bottles of water and food as long as they're outside the 150-foot boundary of a polling location that we keep voters from being harassed, intimidated, or electioneered. County elections officials can still give water. You just said that we were taking away drop boxes. There were counties last year that didn't even have a drop box because it's never appeared in the law before. This legislation mandates that every county have at least one drop box. We have 159 counties in Georgia. 134 of those counties under this legislation will be offering more hours of early voting, not less. So I would encourage these CEOs to look at other states that they're doing business in and compare what the real facts are to Georgia. And I think their focus will probably need to be.
So as he liked in that interview, He had pointed out multiple times that uh, the big thing that he's defending is that you can bring food and water into lines when you have to stand there and wait for such a long time. Even later in the interview, he says people focusing on that, even though he brought it up twice in the same interview, he said people focusing on that part, um, people focusing on that, but they are. He was like, but the reason that people had to get food and water in the line is because the lines were, super long. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, I'm focused on the root of the issue. That if you eliminate the long lines, then you won't have to have people bring you food and water. But he said it's not a ban on food and water. Um, yeah, just a bunch of like little changes like that. We got elderly people. You know what I'm saying? Well, I've seen multiple times where people bring chairs or for just stuff that people need when you stand in line for a long time, when you're elderly or disabled or something like that. Uh, so all of that stuff has kind of been more policed. I guess is the case if he's saying that it's not actually eliminated, but it's people going to be watching it more than they have in the past. Um, I think that I think their absentee ballot request window is like smaller. I think it's like just now is now it's 11 weeks before the election. When absentee ballots, you can get them almost 6 months or something like that before the election. I guess depending on what state or whatever. Um, it shortens like the runoff period from 9 weeks to 4 weeks. Um, uh, so potentially, what that means potentially, people or military people overseas. Um, I don't want to say that their votes won't be counted, but it gives them a smaller window to get those votes in um, before. Um, uh, I want to say 8 days before the election, and I can't remember how many days after. But their window is smaller too for them to vote and get the votes over to be counted. That can pose an issue for some people that's in the service, depending on what their job is and what they're doing. Um, and it's all type of craziness like that. And like I said, no one's. I mean, even other attorney. And this guy used to be the attorney general, which is um, in charge of elections and stuff of that sort in Georgia. So you might remember him as being the attorney, being the person that's in charge of the elections, in charge of vote counting and stuff, and running for governor against somebody. And of course, he won. Like he's in charge of the election. How do you do that and win? Or I'm sorry, how do you do that? Of course, you're going to win if that's the case. So, um, so that's kind of shady to begin with. So of course, anything else he does will be kind of shady. Um, yeah. So like I said, yeah, other attorney generals in different states speaking out about it because they don't feel like it's right. Of course, it's a Republican Democrat thing. Republicans think that they're um, think that they're right for making these changes when a lot of people just see it as voter suppression. Like, I don't know how you I don't know how you can't. Like he said, these certain counties didn't have drop boxes at all, and now they're going to have them, but they're going to be, in a different location, and they're going to be, I guess monitored for like the business hours. So 8 to 5 instead of just a box, you can just drive up and drop your ballot in at any time. You know what I'm saying? Um, where like that's the convenience. You can do it at your convenience. You can drop your vote off at any time. But now you have to do it between 8 and 5. Like so, just little things like that is what makes people think that all this stuff arise to the level of voter suppression. Um, that, along with there are, I want to say, 286 uh, bills that have been introduced or that are in the works in 42 different states. Um, I about to say across the country, of course, across the country, where some form of voter um, uh, voter based bill that's been introduced. And I want to say the majority of those have been introduced by Republicans, and a lot of people think, including me, is that it's because they lost. They lost, and they're trying to hedge their bets to do whatever they can. Just like Donald Trump said, we make voting easier. If you expand absentee ballot voting, Republicans will never win another election. Like he said that, and I feel like it's true. Um, yeah, I don't know what the answer is. You know what I'm saying? But um, the fact that millions and millions of people can vote in American Idol or whatever, they don't be like, oh, it's fraud. Ruben didn't win or he did win. I don't know if he won or lost, but whoever didn't win or they did win, nobody crossed fraud on that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody crossed fraud on that. And the fact that we can do something similar, although more secure, of course, but similar to the point of um, our election to make it easier for people. I just don't understand it. Um, so let me show y'all this. This was on the other end. This was on the other end of, I'm sorry, on the other side of the door when that she was knocking on was the governor, of course, in the center, surrounded by 6 white dudes uh, signing a bill. And I'm assuming these are guys that's in his, cabinet or whatever. Um, I'm sure that they approve of it or whatever. But I mean, boy, that's such a diverse room. Don't you agree? Look at all the diversity. It's old white guys. Not one white woman in there. It's a bunch of old white males. A lot was made about that. Even the picture that's in the background was of a slave plantation. Um, in the governor's office. I get it. It's Georgia pride. You guys see my green screen background is Georgia stuff. I guess I don't know. I'm not from Georgia. um, but even that picture, the picture, and then the picture of the picture, like what I'm saying. Like this doesn't represent a state where 30% of your population is black, and you got X amount of Hispanic people or whatever. Like, but 30% of your population is black, and but this is your cabinet. Like, this is who is watching you sign this bill, where a lot of people feel like it's voter suppression. Like that should tell you something off the back that something's not right about it. That something's going on, or even at the very minimum, the optics of it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good, not to me at least. I could be completely, you know, I'm just a northern, person that's just used to different stuff, I guess. But it just doesn't look good to me, along with the stuff that's in the bill. So yeah, that's all I got, man. Just something to look into over the next couple of weeks. You're probably gonna hear people talking about it. I just wanted to give you a synopsis of it. Um, yeah, if it was the Ray Charles, Georgia, I would be super cool about that. But apparently, yeah, you know what? That is the same Georgia that disowned Ray Charles for a number of years before uh, finally bringing them back and making his song a state song and all this stuff. Yeah, that Georgia. Um, so yeah, just a couple random facts from around the country. Joe Biden was in Pennsylvania today. He introduced a $2 trillion infrastructure bill. I don't know why they always go to Pennsylvania for stuff like that. I mean, it's a wide state. They got a lot of infrastructure, I guess. Uh, will it pass and start working on roads and stuff? Who knows? Um, what else? New York uh, voted to legalize recreational marijuana. That's going to open, open up the door for or northeastern people. I think New Jersey did it a couple months ago, a month or two ago. Um, I think completely legalized. So I think New York or everybody in that area. I think Connecticut might have been the first one, or maybe Massachusetts or something. But all those states in that area, they might as well come on board now because people are just going to be crossing state lines all the time. So New York is the latest state to do it, and hopefully, hopefully they do it sooner rather than later. If you want to make some money off of it, you might as well go ahead and legalize it. Otherwise, people are going to buy it in New Jersey and get high in Central Park. Exactly. Um, if you're in Ohio, you may have received it already. You may not have. Our primaries are coming up in May, so you should be starting to get little mailers. You might see ads on your Facebook or your wherever you surf the internet. You might get people coming around knocking on doors and all of that good stuff. Just be aware that primaries are coming out in May, or primaries is in May sometime. So, like I always encourage people, get out there and vote, even if it's not in the big one, the big general election. You know, these are the ones that's important, the ones that affect your day in and your day out. The local people, the people you want to see, the people who are technically your neighbors, and not people that live in mansions in Washington D.C. So yeah, man, that's all I got. I'm gonna wish y'all a good couple weeks. We're on vacation, so no show on Sunday. It's Easter. Happy Easter. Enjoy with your family. I hope. No politics that following week, that or a week from today either. And then we'll be back with y'all the following Sunday. I don't know the date, so y'all got calendars. um, George Floyd. Yeah, that's not it's not really political, not yet at least. Um, Also, I want to stop calling it the George Floyd case and call it the Derek Chauvin case, since he's the one that's on trial for murder. If you guys got time, if you all want to watch, maybe not the full thing, but just the highlights, I think MSNBC or something do like a 9-minute highlight every uh, uh, at the end of every thing. It's kind of worth to watch. It's pretty interesting. You get a lot of people who um, show remorse, like people that stood there and watched are super remorseful and stuff and things of that nature. So if y'all got some time, go back and rewatch that because it's pretty interesting. um, but yeah, man, so I'm out of here. So salute to the city as always. Y'all be safe, get y'all vaccines, so y'all can go on vacation and all that good stuff. And we'll see y'all in a couple weeks, man. Stay safe out there.